Hello everyone, I'm back with another wonderful chapter of history, that is Mauryan Empire. So I will give brief introduction about Mauryan Empire to you. The Mauryan Empire was geographically extensive Iron Age historical power based in Magadha and founded by Chandragupta Maurya, which dominated the Indian subcontinent between 322 and 185 BCE. In 322 BC, Chandragupta Maurya, the ruler of Magadha, began to assert its authority over the neighboring kingdoms. Chandragupta 320 to 300 BC was the builder of the first Indian imperial power, the Mauryan Empire. He had his capital at Patliputra near Patna in Bihar. In this video, we will learn in detail about the sources, that is literary sources and archaeological sources, Mauryan Empire with its important and powerful rulers, and Mauryan administration. We'll move further. The Mauryan Empire was divided into two parts after the death of Ashoka in 232 BC. These two parts were eastern and western. Kunala, son of Ashoka, ruled the western part, whereas eastern part was ruled by Dashratha, one of the grandsons of Ashoka, and later by Samarati, Salisuka, Devaraman, Satadvan, and finally by Riddhartha. Riddhartha, the last Mauryan ruler, was assassinated by Pushyamitra Sangha in 184 BC. Pushyamitra Sangha later established his own dynasty, Sangha dynasty. Now we'll learn about sources in detail of Mauryan Empire. The important sources of Mauryan rule are literary and archaeological sources. Literary sources include the following. Arthashastra. Arthashastra was written by Kautilya. Kautilya was best known as Chanakya. He was the advisor and prime minister of Chandragupta. Arthashastra contains 6,000 shlokas and is divided into 15 sections and 180 subjects. These subjects deal with politics, rules of diplomacy, principles of administration, and other such political topics. Another literary source was Indica. Indica was a book written by Megasthenes, which contains his impressions of what he heard and saw during his stay in India. He remained in Patliputra for about 5 years, from 302 BC to 298 BC. He had left an interesting account of the social, political, and economic life of India of those times. Here we'll go ahead with the archaeological sources. Ashokan edicts. Ashokan edicts are instructions of the king to the people. They contain descriptions of principles of Dharma, including treatment of man and animals. These inscriptions are regarded like a unique collection of documents. Ashoka's inscriptions can be classified into 3 categories. Rock edicts. A series of 14 big rock edicts have been located at different places which carry inscriptions in Prakrit and some other local languages describing the principles of Buddhism and Ashokas Dharma. Pillar edicts. Pillar edicts are engraved on stone pillars surmounted by capital. Pillars are made of a stone with highly polished and metallic luster. Apart from the inscriptions covering Ashoka's Dharma, they contain an imperial reviews of his policy and measures taken by Ashoka for promotion of religion. Pillar edicts at Lumbini, at present in Nepal, and Meghalaya, Bihar, were erected and memorial to the Gautama and other mythical Buddhas. Here we'll just go ahead with the another archaeological source of Mauryan Empire, that is Sanchi Stupa. The Great Stupa at Sanchi is the oldest stone structure in India. It was originally commissioned by Emperor Ashoka. The stupa is a semi-spherical solid dome-like structure made by unburnt bricks and stones. The Buddhist stupa has spherical significance. It represents the spiritual body of Buddha containing his relics such as hair, teeth, or bones. A casket containing these relics is placed at the base of dome. There are 4 gateways in 4 directions. They have carved panels depicting events from the life of Buddha and some tales from Jataka stories. Inscriptions found on the railing and pillars of stupa recorded donation made for building and decorating them. Now we will learn about the founder of the Mauryan Empire as well as the powerful rulers of that era. We'll start with Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of the Mauryan Empire. He founded the dynasty by overthrowing the Nandas around 320 BC. There is no clear account available about his early life. He was born in Patliputra but was raised in forests in the company of herdsmen and hunters. It was Chanakya who spotted him and he was struck by his personality. Chanakya trained and transformed him into one of the most powerful rulers of that era. Chanakya trained him in arts, science, logic, administration, and warfare at the Takshila University. Chanakya had decided a task for Chandragupta to free India from Greek dominance. Some smaller kingdoms in Punjab and Sindh helped Chandragupta. Soon Chandragupta defeated the Greeks and freed Punjab, Sindh and onshore northwest regions of India. He then defeated the Nandas ruler and Patliputra and captured the throne of Magda. When we are learning about Mauryan dynasty, we cannot miss the Alexander. Alexander, the Greek ruler, had conquered many states in northwestern part of India. After his death, his territories in the Indian subcontinent were taken over by Chandragupta Maurya. With the help of Chanakya, he embarked on the consolidation process of his empire. First of all, Chandragupta established his empire in Indo-Gangetic plains and later marched towards northwest. Chandragupta soon conquered the whole region of Punjab. Seleucus Nicator, a Greek general, held some of the land in the extreme north. Therefore, Chandragupta fought a long battle against him and at last defeated him around 305 BC, and a treaty was signed. According to this treaty, Seleucus Nicator ceded the Trans-Indus territories, namely Arya, Kandhar, Balochistan, Kabul, to the Mauryan Empire, and in exchange Chandragupta made a gift of 500 elephants to Seleucus Nicator. Seleucus also gave his daughter in marriage to the Mauryan prince, or it is supposed that Chandragupta married Seleucus' daughter as a gift from Seleucus to formalize an alliance. In this way, he took his control over Indus region, some part of which is now in modern Afghanistan. Later, he moved towards central India and occupied the region north of Narmada River. Here we'll learn about the another ruler of the Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta ruled for around 25 years, and after that he left his throne for his son Bindusara. Bindusara have conquered the Deccan up to Mysore. Therefore, it can be said that during the rule of Bindusara, the Mauryan dynasty extended as far as Mysore and therefore included almost the whole India, but excluded a small portion of unexplored trial and forested regions near Kalinga, and the kingdoms of extreme south were not the part of empire. Here we'll learn about the great ruler Ashoka the Great. Ashoka was the son of Bindusara. He is considered among the greatest rulers of all times. He was the first ruler who tried to maintain direct contact with his subjects. It offers account of the 8 years of Kalinga War. The destruction and the sorrow that he witnessed in the war transformed Ashoka from a warrior to peace-loving ruler. He started propagating Buddhism. The impact of Ashoka's moral conquest can be seen not only within India but also in the far-off empires like Syria, Egypt, Macedonia. Significantly, Ashoka has been referred to with names of Devanumam Priya and Priyadarshini throughout the edicts. After ascending the throne, Ashoka fought the famous Kalinga War. According to the Megasthenes, the Greek historians at the court of Chandragupta Maurya, the rulers of the Kalinga had a powerful army. Ashoka faced tough resistance. According to the Rock Edict 13, both sides suffered losses, but people of Kalinga suffered the most. This was an important war during the Ashoka's rule, which changed his attitude towards life. In 265 BC, Ashoka invaded Kalinga and occupied it after widespread destruction and bloodshed. Kalinga was an important empire as it controlled the land and the sea routes to South India. This led to Ashoka becoming a follower of Buddhism. He increased preoccupation in the religion and emphasis on non-violence led to the weakening of his administration, which slowly led to the decline of the Mauryan Empire. Here we'll learn about the administration in the Mauryan Empire. Mauryan Empire administration had following main divisions: central administration, provincial, military, judicial, and municipal administration. We'll start with the central administration. King was the supreme authority and his throne was hereditary. He was also the supreme judge and the supreme commander of the armed forces. King was assisted by the Council of Ministers or Mantri Parishad, headed by the Prime Minister. Each minister was responsible for his department. Other officers who assisted the Council of Ministers included the Chief Pujari of the state called Purohit. Senapati advised the king on matters relating to the war and peace. Central administration was divided into 32 departments headed by Adhyaksha. Here we'll learn about the provincial administration. During the Chandragupta's reign, there were 4 provinces: Magda, Gandhara, Avanti, and South Province. After the addition of Kalinga, Ashoka added it in list of provinces with capital Toshali. Magda was directly under the control of the central government. Provinces were headed by the Kumaras or Aryaputra, and they were generally the prince of royal families. During Ashoka's reign, the Kumaras were assisted by the governors or Mahamatras. Beside the Mahamatras, other officers like Pradeshika collected taxes. Rajuka performed the functions of whole day. Tehsildar was the revenue officer and Yukta was the treasurer. The provinces were further divided into districts, and district consisted of a number of villages. District was headed by the Sthanika and the villages were headed by the Gramika. Now we'll learn about the military administration. King was the supreme commander of military. Infantry, cavalry, war elephant, war chariots, transport, and admiralty constituted of the army headed by a board. Officers was constituted by the 30 members consisting of 6 boards of 5 members each. We'll move further for the judicial administration. King's judgment was the final. Foreigners were tried by the special judges. Petty disputes at village level were decided by village elders. Municipal administration was the another important or main division of the Mauryan administration. Patliputra, Takshila, and Ujjain were governed by municipal administration. It was administered by the commission consisting of 30 members, dividing into 6 boards, each consisting of 5 members. Each board had a specific functions to perform. Apart from these boards, the municipal council collectively looked after local needs of the people. Spy system. Chandragupta Maurya had a wide network of spies in his empire. There were spies against the spies, and on important matters, more than one agent was asked to collect information. The king was always kept informed of the working of the bureaucracy. There were 2 types of spies: stationary spies and wandering spies. The land revenue was the chief source of income in the Mauryan Empire. It was 1/6 to 1/4 of the produce. 2 kinds of taxes, namely Bali and Baga, are mentioned in the edicts of Ashoka. Baga was levied on agricultural produce and the cattle at the rate of 1/6. Toll tax was imposed on articles which were brought for sale. Taxes were levied on liquor shops, gambling houses, and some professionals. Some taxes were collected from forests and mines. From the revenue collected, the state provided various facilities like roads, irrigation, hospitals, and met other expenses of the state. Ashokas Dharma. After the Kalinga War, Ashoka became the people's king. He embraced Buddhism but did not impose it on his subjects. He wanted his subjects to follow such a Dharma that may be based on the unifying principles of all major religions of the world. The Dharma, as described in Ashoka's edict, is not a religion or religious system, but a moral law, a common code of conduct, or an ethical order, which is the common meeting ground of all religion. Here we'll go ahead with the impact of Dharma on Ashoka's imperial policy. People belonging to different religions followed their emperor's policy of religious tolerance. People under the influence of Dharma started living a moral life. The policy of ahimsa did have a great moral impact on people. Theft, crimes, and other such activities almost came to an end. With the policy of conquest and wars having come to an end, Ashoka's Dharma helped officials to undertake public welfare and public work schemes. This resulted in prosperity and helped people to lead a peaceful life. Thank you so much. We'll be back with the another chapter.